cave after cave. We searched everyone we could find for the rest of this artifact. It was getting hopeless until one day we stumbled on a hole in the ground that turned out to be a cave with the first of the 2 remaining pieces and a mining pick. I was able to collect plenty of ore samples. Some caves were empty. Most had mutants of some type in them. The bigger caves always ended up with the bigger mutants, and in deeper parts of some of these were even stranger ones. I found another cave painting in one of them, depicting people standing in a square or cube. Blind mutants were the most abundant in the caves. The katana I picked up back in the residential bunker made easy work of most of them. So did the explosives. We tried to use those sparingly. The pickaxe came in a lot more use later when I found a spot where ore was blocking a hole going deeper in a cave I was in. It dropped me down into a tunnel leading into water. The water led out into a room with a finger mutant that fell victim to the katana. Further in the cave was another finger mutant who suffered the same fate. Even further in, around more flooded passages, were baby mutants and a rope going up. I ran through halls of random bits of that golden structure I found in previous caves before running into and slicing out one of those leggy mutants. I found what I thought was a blocked passage behind some planks, but it turned out to be a steep ramp dropping into water. I introduced another finger mutant to my blade and found a sweet rifle off a dead guy hanging from the ceiling behind it. Eventually I made my way up north to Maintenance Bunker C. It was almost exactly like the last two, except this one was still being worked on. The living area was unfurnished and the walls were brushed with unfinished paint strokes. A dead worker was propped up against a ladder in the middle of the room next to a revolver, a letter, and some red paint. I grabbed everything useful that I could find and left. Before heading over to the luxury bunker, I wanted to check out those fishing villages. The first didn't have much in it. The second had a recipe for a spinning blade trap found in a shack. The third fishing village had a shack with planks covering a hole on the floor hiding an entrance to a cave. Down below, past hanging crosses and skeletons, was the final piece of that artifact. I found the entrance to the luxury bunker on a beachfront on the northeast part of the island. Inside looked like the residential bunker. I went down a stairwell into a rectangular room with equally spaced doors on the right that opened into short hallways leading into small living quarters. There were 3 of these rectangular rooms linked up like a long hallway. I ran to the end of the hall of rooms, down more stairs to the very bottom of that place. Another hallway went into a receptionist area with a corpse of a cultist laying up against the desk and blood everywhere. There was a sheet of paper at the foot of the cultist with a crudely drawn map of this place showing the way to what they called the Golden City. Past blood-soaked sofas was a gallery room of books, paintings, and another dead cultist. The next room through a hallway had a bar in the back and a couple long, large couches squared in the center. To the right was a table that sat 6 and a small lounge area tucked into a back corner around a wall from the center. The walls were covered with bookshelves. There was a projection on the left wall of the ocean and a corpse hanging right in front of it. Left of that was a doorway.
光线充足，距离其他客人非常近，但都是高净值的个体，有氧运动，一切都能让你在这里生活的同时保持健康，就像一个小城市。哦，有台球桌、游戏、大屏幕。这里我们有传统风格的浴缸，还有，不要，快走，快走！
The doorway led into a dining lounge room with a dartboard and pool table. The room right off of this one had a big hole in the wall that led into a cave where I found Timmy Leblanc standing at a small golden gate and a recipe for a stone grave on a skeleton next to it.
There's got to be a way to open this. A key. Something. No. No, we're missing something.
We needed to figure out what some of these recipes made and how they work, so back at base we got a few built. One of the machines turned the ore into liquid. We were able to dip most of our weapons into it, giving a hard gold plating to them which ended up making them stronger and more durable. It took 6 nuggets of ore and a lot of power. So much power that it started to attract a lot of attention. By this point, the base was strong enough to hold off just about anything, and the new traps from the recipes we found have been working great. We resupplied, gathered the weapons and extra ammo, double-checked everything, and laid down to try to get some sleep before heading back to the bunker entrance to perform the last step to open the gate in the morning.